Focus on the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation that's inviting you, the listener, to an annual Ashley Kriel Memorial Lecture. Online, we have project leader at the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation, Eleanor Swartz. Eleanor, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Aisha.
And thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us and our listeners. Eleanor, you want to tell us who Ashley Kriel was so our listeners can have a better insight into why we're speaking about his memorial this time around?
Sure, Aisha. Ashley Kriel was a young man. He grew up in Bonteheuwel, lived there, and he was very active in his community. He took part in initiatives at school, and also he eventually was recruited as an MK soldier for the ANC, and he unfortunately died at the hands of security police at the young age of 20 years old. But before then, he played such a huge role in the community and in terms of fighting the liberation struggle.
Are we looking at this being the 10th annual Ashley Kriel Memorial?
Yes, this is the 10th one. So it's been running for 10 years, and we're so happy that we finally come to this really monumental and important year. That we're celebrating the 10th annual Ashley Kriel Memorial.
Definitely. Can I ask you something? Obviously, we're looking at the 10th, or, it's a decade now, basically, that you're doing this memorial. Yeah. But do you prefer to have themes to each memorial service that you host or lecture?
Excuse me?
Do you prefer to have themes for each and every, yes, previous lecture that you hosted, or the memorial lecture, and for this one as well?
Yes. So for this year, because we've been working the entire year with the Ashley Kriel Youth Leadership Development Project, working with young people for the year, and the theme for this year was, and still is, My Voice, Our Story. So the lecture is a culmination of the year's work, where we celebrate that theme and we're exploring the theme. And it kind of just touches on this whole aspect of youth voice and agency, and young people claiming that voice. And then also exploring how that fits into the bigger national narrative of the South African story, or multiple South African stories. So it's all about seeing where do I fit in as a young person, and how can I make my voice heard.
And so do you say that this memorial lecture is aimed at the youth of the Cape?
Yes, it is definitely aimed at the youth, but it's not exclusively for the youth. So anybody who has an interest in the topic of kind of building inclusive societies, thinking about how we can better our communities, but also then just commemorating what young people are doing, then they can come and attend. But it is a youth memorial lecture, so we encourage young people to come. But like with all other lectures, there are many people who know Ashley and also his legacy, and we invite anybody who's got an interest to join us.
Eleanor, it's not just a lecture, but definitely, from those lectures and also your previous lectures over the past 9 years, something spilled over from there as well, because you want participation from the youth as well. Does that mean it's growing youth within various communities as well?
Yes. Like with the project that we are doing, that we've had for the year, we've been working with young people from all over the Western Cape. So we've been working with young people from Hanover Park, Lavendale, Retreat, as far as Stellenbosch. So it does have a spillover effect, and that is part of the initiative. We would like young people to interact with others. It's so sad that sometimes young people only interact with those that are in the immediate, environment. But this is kind of opening up conversations among people coming from different sectors.
Eleanor,
yes.
Okay. I think we're going to be running out of time, because we would love to know when and where it will be happening, and also if people have to RSVP if they want to attend the memorial lecture.
Sure. It's happening on Thursday, the 3rd of October, at the University of the Western Cape. The venue is going to be Life Sciences Auditorium, and we are going to start at 6 o'clock and end at 8, and people do not have to RSVP, they can just come.
The fact that you've chosen My Voice, My Story as your theme for this year, who's going to be a guest speaker?
The guest speaker for this year is going to be Kurt Alderson. He is an activist and a filmmaker, and because it's the 10th, we thought that we would like a young person who is doing things in the community and who is telling his community story to come and address the youth and kind of inspire them to tell their story and to tell the story of their communities and also the country at large. So Kurt Alderson will be there.
Do you sometimes find that over the past 9 years that, in attendance you had more males than females, youth interest? Where would it stem from your local communities?
I think that, when we think, or I think the way that the struggle has been conceptualized, or the narrative of the struggle has been very masculine, and people have these ideas that those that have been involved are predominantly male, but I think that in the project what we tried to do was to have a balance of male and female participants. So I hope that all the ladies will also come to the lecture this year.
Sure. Though it's a lecture, what happens thereafter? Do you take a role of who comes and also make contact with them and keep them involved?
Yes, that's what we've been doing. We built a database with everybody who comes in. We have a register that people can sign so that we can keep them informed on the progress of the project, but also for upcoming events and also if they want to get involved in any way. So that's what we try and do for those that do attend.
Eleanor, thanks so much. That is for the Ashley Kriel